Welcome to day 7 of the 13 days of Halloween. Robin Pitts and myself are participating with our host, Rosa Kelly. To be entered into our giveaways, you must subscribe and leave a comment daily on each of our channels. And as I've mentioned before, I will leave all the giveaway rules and details in the description box below. And what I have created for you today are these lanterns. And I did put some candles. I put little tea lights, and they're kind of hard to see. But it is in there. If I hold it up, you can see it. I probably should have got some bigger candles, but it is also during the day, so that could be part of my trouble as well. But I love how they came out. I did purchase these from the SVG file from the Silhouette Cameo store, and I did cut them out on my Cameo machine. So you can purchase an SVG file as well if you would want to cut these out on your Cricut. And one thing I did add additional to the file was I did cut these decorative pieces out. I just, made some rectangles, and then I made a triangle to go at the top piece. And I love the gold for the cobweb, and I love this paper that has the skulls and the gold. I just think it's so pretty, even though it's Halloween. And there's just 4 of the same image all the way around. And I just took some ribbon and took a chenille stem, tied it in the middle, and then put a little flower at the top to cover where I had wrapped the chenille stem. And I love how that came out. And then I just made like a little hook, and it holds this together because I didn't glue it all the way on all 4 pieces because I wanted to be able to put my candle in, and then I can turn it on and off. So that's just wrapped around the top there, holding those pieces together. And then on this one, I did the spider one as well, and I used some black glitter cardstock and glittered orange cardstock, and then this decorative paper with the orange and black polka dots. I'll just spin it around so you can see it all the way as well. It's the same all the way around. So just stay tuned for the tutorial, and make sure to come back tomorrow. Have a spectacular day. Okay, and I've got my spider lantern cut out. And I went ahead and on all the score marks, I have folded them over. So this large tab, each tab on the top piece in the middle of each section of lantern. And when you are putting this together, I did make a mistake. I had one tab on the right, and I didn't realize it, and had one tab on the left. So the spiders weren't going the same way, so I had to cut this piece out and make it go to the right. So that's one thing. And then I had to cut my spiders out and flip them in the Silhouette program because I must have put it together. The tabs probably should have been on the left when I was putting it together because my spider did not line up, so I had to flip him. I do believe it was horizontally, the way he was positioned, so the legs would match up when I put him on my lantern. And the orange pieces, I just made a triangle and then some rectangles so I could have some decorative paper. I wanted to use 110 pound for the base, and I wanted to have the decorative paper. So I did do that, the rectangle here and this triangle, and I even have a frame underneath the frame as well. Those are the 3 things that did not come in the SVG file. Here is our bottom piece, and it has the perforation lines as well. Pull my light over here so maybe you can see it. Right, hopefully you can see those. And I'm just going to bend on all 4 sides. And when I cut this out, because I did enlarge the lanterns, I don't know if this piece just did not resize well, but I had to cut it out a couple different times to get it to fit the base of the lantern. So I don't know why it did that. Usually if I enlarge or make something smaller, as long as I do everything together, it works out okay. But that base, I had to make it, I had to adjust the size till it fit. And and I just put glue on the tabs. I'll show you on this side. So I folded the tabs in. I'm just putting glue, and I am using art glitter glue. My bottle is a little rough looking. I keep refilling that size, the 2-ounce bottle. Okay. So we've got that. And I am going to go to score tape for this next part around the bottom. And I'm just going to go ahead and tear this on each side so I can tear up just a portion of it instead of just, you know, having one piece going all the way around. And I'm putting this fairly, you know, almost to the bottom, maybe a 1/16 of an inch up from the bottom. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to fold this and just line it up. And the box, the lantern is not a perfect square, so I'm just making it match where that seam will fold down. If I do it this way, that tab doesn't fold down, it's hitting, so I need to turn it, and I will need to get a tab on my score tape pulled up. Trying to find my piercing tool. Okay, so let me get this pulled up here. There we go. Okay, and I think it was like this side. And so I'm just lining that up with the bottom. Okay. Make sure it still folds, and it does. Okay, I can pull this out now. The first one's the hardest to get started. And I'm just going to turn it over and make sure my score tape is really adhered. Since it's such a long area, score tape, it just goes a little bit quicker than if I was using glue. But glue will work. Oh, almost forgot to adhere my other piece. So let's put some score tape on here as well. Yeah, I should have done that before I put the bottom piece on. And I'm just making sure not to cover up the perforation or go over the perforation marks with this bottom piece. I'm just going to line these up. Make sure the bottom is matched up exactly here. There. Okay. Pull this. Just make sure it's all matched up again. Okay, I have a hold of it, so now I can make sure it's adhered. There we go. And now we will do the bottom. I like using my piercing tool to get the score tape paper up. Need to put some more score tape here on this tab. Now I'm just going to pull this part way, because if you've used score tape, you know once it grabs, it grabs. So I don't want it to grab in the wrong place. Okay, I'm just going to reach my hand in. I'm going to turn it that way so I can push really hard. I'm going to go all the way around the bottom before I put that last side together. Okay, and that looks pretty good like that. And I'm just going to turn it over, and then I can run my hand along that seam. I'm just going to use glue up here. You can use score tape. And so my tab has been folded over, and I'm just going to fold this and squeeze it together. And what I did is I just put two and two together. That way I could still reach in and put a candle or whatever I want, you know, to put inside for lights. I'll just go ahead and do this one. Like so. and I can still get in there with my hand, and I even probably use some tweezers and just put my light down in the box. Oh, almost forgot our little tab pieces here. So I just put glue on one side. I'm going to here, get it straight. So I left it about 1/4 of an inch above it so it can turn up, and then I can use ribbon or twine in through those to tie them. See, I just left about 1/4 of an inch, and I want to put it opposite of the first one. Okay. So there's our completed lantern.